and it gets pretty hard for regular IT administrators to kind of detect it. It also has a lot of automated features. The files, the output files, like the malware that we demoed last year, they were just plain text files, no obfuscation whatsoever. What you're going to see here is like there's a lot of thinking process involved with the hackers. Like they know what we could detect, and they did one better with this piece of malware. So without further ado, I'm going to get into a malware demo. So here we go. I wish we had some music, but there we go. Maybe you could all do it. Okay, so first I'm just going to go enter the malware directory. I call this malware memkit. And let me show you the pieces of malware that are associated with this. So loader.exe, we're m32.sys. Now, if you could guess, it's a sys file, so that's probably the rootkit, and searcher.dll, which is basically a configuration file. So let's actually check out what this loader.exe is about. So I'm not going to open IDA Pro or anything. I'm just going to show you like strings for this loader.exe. So what you see here is loader.exe's options. So the usage, as you can see, the I option is to install the system driver, and that's actually the rootkit. The R option is to start and resume the capturing of data. And in this example, since it was a sports bar, the hackers were trying to intercept credit card track data, the magnetic stripe data on the back of your credit card. And we all know that you can make counterfeit credit cards with that and get a lot of money. So it has this stop feature as well, and it kindly enough they have an uninstall feature as well. So those are the key things from this, and also it installs as a service. Okay, so let's just go ahead and install this rootkit. So notice, just with the loader.exe option, it installs a RAM sys32 driver in the kernel, and then we're just gonna start it. Okay, so it's starting to capture the track data. So what I know about this malware is that it stores its information in a file in the Windows folder. It's like a window variable. So we're just going to see if we see the file here. So today is not 6/14, so there's no file here. So what we're going to have to do is, any guesses? Show hidden files. You got it. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Hit apply and try to see it now. So I'm going to sort this by date modified again and see if we see anything. We still don't see it. Any more guesses? So we're going to go to the folder options again, and so there's this other option here to not hide the protected operating system files. So as you can see, these settings are not turned on by default. We have to actually uncheck these boxes to actually see the data. So it gives us a warning, but I can promise you we're safe. So here we go. So now we see a weird looking file here, right? With random digits, and it says it's a system file. It's hidden and it's a system file, so that's why we don't see it with the Windows Explorer. So I'm just gonna load it up with the TextPad just to kind of see what data is there. So why is there no data in it? It's meant to capture track data, right? The reason is that no track data has gone into the memory. So when the track data is processed, when someone swipes a credit card at a bar and it goes to the back of house server and the memory picks it up for the back of house server, that's when this file gets updated, because it's the rootkit that's installed is meant to search for track data. Okay, so what we're going to do is actually process some track data and then come back to this file. So I'm going to go to my pending payments folder. So what I'm going to show you now, these are basically check files, and these are, like Nick mentioned, these files are placed on the system for a millisecond, or they just run in memory. But I'm just showing you to kind of show you how this looks like. So check 1, check 2, and this is how track 1 and track 2 data looks like. So we're basically going to go through all these different formats of files, and we're going to see if our memory kind of picks up on it. And this is like the master file, so I'm just going to say, okay, I'm processing these payments. So sure enough, malware, when you do a write operation to an operating system, the data goes in the memory, right? So now we're going to go back to this file, and as you can see, that TextPad is warning us that hey, some other application updated this file. So any guesses what we're going to see in this file? The whole check, just track. All right, so let's just go ahead and see it. So remember, we just saw like a bunch of temporary check files from different point of sale systems. All the malware did was it just took the track data out of it. And there's one really cool feature of this malware is that it has some sort of DLP protection. So a lot of the more secure environments have DLP software, and they search on track data patterns. So the track 1 data has this this character, the caret, right? So what this malware does is that wherever it sees the caret character, it replaces that with a percentage sign. So if you have like a DLP software running that's searching for track data, that would fail right there. Also with the track 2 data, so let me show you an example of track 2 data here. So as you can see, this card number, this is basically track 2. So with the equals to sign here, this is how the track 2 looks like. So the malware replaces equals to sign, and it puts a dollar sign. Again, that's another trick of hiding from the DLP software. So other than that, like Nick was mentioning, the attackers usually come back to take the data. Now, from our last year's presentation, we've been detecting them coming back. So they have a lot of automated features with this malware. So like every day at about 10 a.m., this malware actually does something special. So what I'm going to do in the interest of time, we don't want to sit here until 10 a.m., so I'll just change the time here, and I'll change it to 9:59 a.m. And we don't want to wait all this many seconds. So there we go. Okay, so what we're going to see here is that right now our TextPad file has a lot of track data, and this right here has data as well. So right when the clock hits 10 a.m., we're going to see this malware do an important function. Now that's one of the shortcomings, that it's not randomizing events. It does it every day at 10 o'clock. So I think if they see this result, they'll probably change this too. All right, so what we see here in our TextPad file is that, again, it got updated, and now there's no data. So what the malware basically did, it rotated the temp file into like a daily log file. So whenever they would come back, like in 15 days or 30 days, they would have like unique data in these daily log files. So let's actually see if there's another file here. So today is 2010, July 28th, so there's a file. And this file basically has the data that was in there. So, and this new file, it's basically starting to capture the data that's going to be processed on this new day. So that's about it for this memory dumper rootkit. As you can see, the malware, you're not going to see this malware in Task Manager. Now someone asked me last year if it's going to be in Process Explorer, sysinternals Process Explorer. No, you're not going to see it there. And if you search for these rootkits in Process Explorer, you're not going to see that as well, because it's running pretty hidden. So you won't see loader.exe, you won't see the sys file, nothing. And that's how discrete this malware is. So that's about it for the memory dumper malware. And Nick's going to talk about something else. So let me.
Sure. While he's getting that set up, talk about little implications of the memory dumper. Now, the examples here we showed you had to do with credit card data, but really think of any data on a system. So we spend a lot of time securing systems so that data leaving the system is encrypted, data entering the system is being encrypted, and then data at rest is being encrypted as well. But on those same systems, if you have to do something with them, manipulate it in some way, it has to be decrypted. And so these memory dumpers are taking advantage of that on these systems. When that data exists in the clear in memory, they're actually pulling that data out of memory and writing it to a disk and using it. So the next piece here is a Windows credential stealer. And so the code name for this one is Don't Call Me Gina. Basically, the file name is fsgina.dll. and it targets a Windows platform. So really the victim here is the online adult bookstore. They've actually basically, it's a 100-person company on the west coast of the United States. They basically outsourced all of their website development to a third party, so a low-cost provider. The admin page, we found, it actually allows uploads. And so how did the attackers get access to the admin page? Well, the hosting provider actually had a terminal server in place for their customers. The terminal server was not well patched, not well maintained. The attackers gained access to that system, placed this Windows credential stealer on there. When this company went to go log in to access their environment, it grabbed their credentials. They had credential sharing, or they reused those same credentials on the admin page. And so the attackers gained access to the admin page, wrote an ASP application that would then query the database and take the temporary files, temporary records of their customers, and basically dump those every time someone hit refresh on that ASP page. And so, so basically, that's what the end result of the attack was. Now Jibran's going to demo actually what was going on within that environment. So if you think about it from an attack standpoint, Jibran's going to show you when the attackers were actually on the box itself, on the terminal server, and show you what actually was going on.
Right, and the cool thing with this, usually, when there's a credit card hack, the card brands like Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and Discover, they're pretty quick to report fraud. With this adult site, like none of their customers, they were getting breached, they were seeing fraudulent activity, but just out of embarrassment or whatever, they weren't reporting the fraud to the card brands, and so this one went on for a very long time. Okay, so now we're ready to demo I call it the Gina malware. Don't call me Gina. So without further ado, let me show you the pieces that are involved with this malware. So this is one of those registry hacks that you could do. How many of you have heard of msgina.dll? It's like a Windows file, and it's basically used for authentication. So when you log into a Windows box, the msgina helps you log into it, and it's does the graphical stuff as well. So let's just go to, and let's show you what we have here. So there are three files. fsgina.dll, that's actually the real malware that's going to be loaded with Windows logon.exe. fsgina.reg, I'm going to actually go through the whole demo. I'm going to show you the actual registry key. But as you guys know, if you just run a reg file, it could just update your registry. So, but we're going to see the whole thing. The timestamp.exe, now Nick mentioned earlier that we see attackers actually modifying the system time, the MAC times, so that what we did in our last demo, we were doing I was sorting it by date modified, date created. So if you change the time of the malware, it gets even harder to detect. So what I'm going to do is basically copy these two pieces in my system32 directory. So now we're going to see these two things here, right? And the dates, as you can see, the date created is 7/28/2010 and 12/30/2000 and 7/28 again. So what this timestamp actually does, it's basically going to change the time of fsgina.dlls. And what we're going to do is actually change the time to the time of msgina.dll, which is a legit file, so that when when a system administrator or security administrator is looking through the system32 directory, they'll be like, oh, msgina installed in 2003, which is the operating system install date, and fsgina the same date. It's not going to be that suspicious. So. Okay, so we're gonna actually msgina. Okay, so let's check out the time for msgina.dll. So it's 4/13/2008. Now that's pretty much if you check the DLLs in system32, most of them will be from that date because all the DLLs are placed when the operating system is installed, with the exception of a few. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this tool called timestamp. And this is how the syntax goes for this. So timestamp.exe, which is the name of the program, then the file, fsgina.dll. And if you choose the Z option with this timestamper utility, it actually changes all the times, like the create date, modify date, access date, and also the MFT. So the guys who do forensics, just note this point, it changes the MFT as well.